Hi and welcome to today's demo, which is about the open source firewalls. And in this demo today, we will be reviewing PfSense, which is a firewall software based on FreeBSD, which can be installed and deployed on the hardware appliances, and also on the virtual appliances as well. So PfSense is a fork from Monoval. Monoval was another firewall based on FreeBSD, which is discontinued now. But PfSense has been in production and deployment for a long time. And if we browse to the website, the pfsense.org, this is the website of the PfSense, and from here we can just start getting involved. If we click getting started now, provide some information about the PfSense. So PfSense, in the website, they sell the PfSense as a bundle with hardware. So you can consider buying a bundle of the PfSense along with the hardware, which comes on different type of hardware from small based on the Atom processors, and the large ones based on the Xeon processors, and with 10 gig interfaces. But in this demo, we will just see, we will be looking at how PfSense can be loaded in our virtual environment, and how we can use it for protecting the virtual machines, and provide some kind of even microsegmentation in our virtual environment. So when you click on the getting started, we can just start from the installation guide. The installation guide provides some very good documentation here, that it starts from the installation of the PfSense and also the configuration of each services for PfSense. If we browse down here, it talks about the virtual machines. So PfSense is supported on hypervisors like VMware, Hyper-V, KVM, Proxmox, or Xen. Which in this demo, in general, I use Xen, so we will be trying it also on Xen hypervisor. For downloading the PfSense, it provides us this link, which is here, and from here we can just select the mirror and download the virtual appliance here. So it comes as an ISO file, and you just need to load the ISO file inside your new virtual machine. You can create a new virtual machine and make it to boot from that particular ISO file. So for this demo, I have already installed that virtual machine. So I have my Xen server, and I have the OpenXen manager. My PfSense is here. So this is the virtual machine which has already created and got the PfSense running. So in the beginning, after the installation, you can continue the installation on the console for assigning the interfaces to the PfSense, assigning the initial IP address, and after that you can get the web interface of the PfSense. Let's have a look at our drawing to see what exactly we are going to do, and then we continue from there. Alright, so we have this very basic setup of a PfSense. So we have the PfSense virtual machine running in our Xen environment, and everything here, these are all inside the Xen. In PfSense, we will have a WAN interface connected to the internet. So this WAN interface, it just receives an IP address from the DHCP, and it gets the default IP, default gateway towards a router, which routes us back outside to the internet. We are planning in our demo to have a virtual machine and create a new virtual internal network within the Xen, and we will use that network to connect our virtual machine 1 to the PfSense. That's what the plan is. Okay, and here are requirements that VM1 needs to connect to outside via firewall. So that's the reason we are creating the PfSense. We are putting it in path. Inline internal virtual network should be created for VM1. So we need to create this new virtual network within the Xen, and the virtual firewall should allow VM1 to be able to communicate with outside, and virtual firewall should block any traffic from outside to the VM1. So if there is any traffic initiated from outside going to the VM1, that traffic has to get blocked, and but traffic which is being initiated from the VM1 to the outside, that has to be allowed. Now to deploy this, let's start by going and having a look at the web interface of the PfSense. So right now we have the PfSense running. I have this interface, also the WAN interface, connected to the PfSense, and we will continue looking at the web interface of the PfSense, and after that we will start creating this the new virtual network. We will assign the new interfaces to the PfSense and to the VM1, and we continue from there. All right, so now I put my browser towards the IP address of the PfSense, which is 192.168.200.106. I have disabled the HTTPS, so I'm just connecting it through the standard HTTP. Now let's log into the PfSense, and okay, so after the login, it just shows us some dashboard information about the system. It's based on Zen. The CPU, it's got 6 core. That's the main processor in the machine, AMD 2435. And the information like CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the other stuff. The memory, I think, is just 1 gigabyte that comes with the standard. You can also increase that. Currently we got only one WAN interface, which is up, and we have this IP address on it. If we look at the system, we got some menus here, and we got routing. We can create static routing on PfSense. I think it doesn't support routing protocols, so but we can create as much as we want, the static route, which should be enough. It's got a setup wizard also, which can help you for doing the standard configuration if you want to do the NATing and connect your internal network to the internet, or create some kind of DMZ network. The setup tool, this wizard should be able to help. It has the update manager, which can automatically update the system just on the fly. You got user management, and you can create also different users inside. Interfaces is interesting. So currently I got only this WAN interface. I have another interface which is not used, but you can assign these interfaces to different names, and all the policies will be applied on these interface names which you are creating. That's the logic of the PfSense. There are other interfaces. You can create link aggregations with LACP. You can create GRE tunnels, the Q and Qs, or VLAN interfaces as well. So if you have a trunk interface, 802.1q interface towards the switch, you can create multiple VLAN interfaces here and have them share the same physical interface and use even different IP addresses. If you have a Wi-Fi card, also you can use that Wi-Fi card. So this applies actually on the physical, if you install a PfSense on a physical appliance. If you got a Wi-Fi card, you can use the wireless option to create, I think you can make it like an access point, or you can connect it to another wireless network, to make it as a wireless client. So this was the interfaces. Then individual also for each interface, we have configuration. So for example, the WAN interface is set for receiving the IP address from DHCP, and the other configuration like the IPv6. Or you can also start by clicking on these two links. It just blocks any traffic coming from RFC 1918, those private IP addresses. Whatever traffic coming from that source, it will get blocked. So because on a WAN interface, we don't expect that traffic coming with this kind of IP addresses. However, in our lab, because the WAN interface is also connected to another internal network, so I have to remove these ticks here. The firewall menu here, so you can create aliases or the objects. For example, this one is my LAN. It has an IP subnet. You can create ports. So let's say, for example, we can say HTTP, and we can assign port number 80, and we said HTTP. So this will be saved. It cannot be well known. Okay, so let's say SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, which is say 1433 SQL. So this will be saved. So all the well-defined ports are already there. We just we can create alias for the other ports, and you apply for any changes. Then we apply the configuration. So it has a commit option always. The NAT configuration, you can do port forwarding. We have 1-to-1 NAT, and we got the outbound NAT also, which is configured by default. So the outbound NAT applies on the WAN interface. So the traffic coming to the firewall, and if it needs to get routed out over the WAN interface, with this rule, it will get NATed using the IP address on the WAN interface, the IP address which is there. Also, we got other configuration. We can make it hybrid, or we can create some kind of manual settings, or we can completely disable the NAT. Here is the main important thing of the firewall rules. So firewall rules, it applies for the interfaces. That's how it works in PfSense. So for example, the WAN interface, it got allowed any for IPv4. So currently everything is allowed. But for these interfaces which you see here, the way PfSense works, so all the traffic entering to the WAN interface, these are the rules that applies for traffic coming to that interface. Or all the traffic coming over through OpenVPN, these are the firewall rules which we applied for that. For traffic, outbound traffic, we got this floating. So floating is not only actually for outbound traffic, but when you create a floating rule, you can choose a direction. So it's a direction, it's inbound or outbound. So for example, if I need to create a rule for pass all the traffic over the WAN interface, I choose the direction out IP, and any protocol from any to any, everything allowed, apply. So this created a firewall rule for outbound traffic towards the WAN interface, and I applied the changes here. Other than that, we got traffic shaping. We got virtual IPs, which you can use them for port forwarding. Other than firewalling, PfSense has other features. For example, DHCP, DNS forwarding, dynamic DNS, and also it got a load balancer. So the load balancer, you can create a pool of servers. Here, I have a small pool of web servers, and you can choose to do the load balancing or manual failover. So in manual failover, whenever the primary server fails, it starts sending the packet to the other server, and you choose the servers to be part of that pool, that particular pool. So it's not only a firewall only, but it can do also load balancing, and you can create also the virtual server or virtual IP, the VIP IPs, and you create a port number, and that port will get you can assign them to the specific pool. Also, you can do monitoring just like a standard normal load balancer. Doesn't have very fancy features, but it can do just standard load balancing on TCP, UDP, or even. Other than that, we got PPPoE server, so you can create it also, make it as a PPPoE server. We got VPNs, IPsec VPNs, L2TP VPNs, and also the OpenVPN. So you can create OpenVPN service on PfSense for peer-to-peer or the remote access. So you can have remote access users using the OpenVPN client from Android tablets or from iOS or from any machine, Windows machine or anything, connecting to your environment using the PfSense by doing a OpenVPN SSL VPN here. So we got VPNs, and the rest are we got captive portal also. The captive portal will allow you to create some kind of captive portal, you know, on the interface. So when the traffic comes to that interface, like, you know, an HTTP traffic, the PfSense will be able to redirect that traffic to itself, to a captive portal which you can create here. And that captive portal, you know, with all of this configuration, very flexible. You can force the users to do authentication, you know, using a radio server for MAC address authentication. You can register the MAC addresses, or, you know, just without any authentication. Probably you can create a basic page, maybe, that you know, you can ask for the email addresses. So this was about the standard, you know, the interface. The interface looks pretty good, and we got all of the status of all the services, service status, and also diagnostics. They can get information about, you know, the tables or the flows on pftop, for example. We can get, you know, what's going on. The traffic is being, what traffic is being forwarded. Okay, so let's get back to our drawing and see what we are going to do. Okay, so once again, we are going to play with our Zen environment, and we need to first create a virtual network, and we will assign an interface to our VM1 and an interface to the PfSense over this internal network. So let's get access to our Zen now. Okay. Okay. So this is the Zen server which we have, and we will click on the networks. So these are all the networks which are available in our Zen. We will create a new virtual network. It's not external; it's an internal network, and we call it let's call it internal network 1. We create this network. The network is created now. Okay, and we will assign a new interface to this new network for the PfSense and to the VM1. So let's start with PfSense. So I'm coming to the PfSense virtual machine here. Go on the network. So currently we got 3 interfaces connected to the virtual machine. We have only used one of them, which is this one, the VLAN 200. I click on add interface, and from here I will choose the internal network and click on add, and here we go. So we got a new interface connected to our PfSense, and this is the MAC address of that interface. Okay, now let's go to our VM1. So here is the VM1. VM1 is running Ubuntu 16.04. That's fine. We go to the network. It already got an interface here, but we will add another one. Internal network, add, let's give it time. Okay, so this is also created. So we got 2 interfaces here. This one doesn't allow me to delete this interface for some reason, but that's fine. When we connect to the VM1, we will disable the first interface, and we will only use the other interface here. So now we have assigned the interfaces. Let's go to the PfSense, and we assign that new interface which we have added to a new interface alias name. So the new interface, the MAC address is B509. Let's have a look. So from here we go to assignments, interface assignments in PfSense. Okay, so now we are back on the interface assignment page, and let's assign. Okay, we got this new interface here. This is a new one which we added. So B509, we will add this interface, and so this is gone on the LAN interface. We can change this to, let's call it internal, and we will enable this interface as well. Do we need IPv6 configuration? We'll put a static IP. As per our drawing here, we should use this IP address 192.168.155.1. So let's put this IP address on our interface. Where is the IP configuration? Yeah, it's here. 192.168.155.1/24. Okay, no gateways, and we don't apply any of these. And we apply the changes. Okay, so the changes has been applied. Now we got a WAN interface and an internal interface. Both of them are here. Okay, so now let's enable DHCP server on this interface, because that's also something as per our requirement. So we go to service, DHCP server. This is for the internal interface. So by default, it shows all the interfaces where you want to start the DHCP server. So we enable the DHCP server. It says this is the subnet, and let's say a range. So 192.168.155, it's 100 to 192.168.155.150 extra. So this is the range, and DNS server, let's say 4.2.2.4, and where is the gateway? Here we go, 192.168.155.1, 192. And we don't need to do anything other than that, and we save this configuration. Okay, so now we got our internal network, the DHCP server is running. Let's go to our VM1 and see if we can we will assign that interface. It will bring up the interface, and let's test if we can get the IP address from the DHCP. So let's go to our Zen, we go to our VM1. So VM1 has got these two interfaces, interface 0 and interface 1. Interface 1 is the new interface, and let me get access to the console from here. So this machine is running Ubuntu. Okay, so we got, so this machine is having some GUI also. So let's go to the network setting from GUI. So now we got two interfaces and both of them are off. So let's activate the Ethernet one, which I believe it should be for the new one, Ethernet one, and we activate that. Okay, so it's showing it is connected. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so it got the IP address. Yeah, it's a DHCP. It's a DHCP client, and we got the IP address 192.168.155.100, and we got the exact same information. So our PfSense is providing the IP address from its DHCP, and now let's see if we can browse anywhere. So the other interface is off. That's very clear. Let's try. Okay, so now let's check if we got the connectivity back. Let's see if we can ping 4.2.2.4, which now we got the connectivity back. So now the traffic is passing from this host. If we go back to our drawing, the traffic is coming from our virtual machine 1. It's coming to PfSense. PfSense has a rule to allow that traffic going out to the WAN interface. It nats the traffic and it sends it out. So we have the full control using the PfSense. So using as you see, PfSense is very flexible. You can deploy it in minutes, within the network. It's just a virtual machine. You power it on and it works, with very low amount of memory or CPU requirement. It can be deployed. So you can use PfSense for creating, microservices, a firewall for a bunch of virtual machine, or a firewall for a specific service. For example, your CRM cluster, it can be isolated from the other applications. It can be sit behind the PfSense, and you can deploy the PfSense, wherever it's required in your virtualization environment, either it's a VMware or Chemo, OpenStack, or something like that. So this was our demo about the virtual firewalls. I hope it was helpful. And please, if you have any question, please you can write it in the forum, or you can contact me directly. Thank you very much.